Hello, welcome back to Gearjunkies TV and a new video. Today we're gonna take a look and listen to the Erica Synths Syntrx II. The Erica Synths Syntrx II is a monophonic analog synthesizer and it's fully modular. Like its predecessor, the Syntrx II is inspired by the EMS synthesizer from the 1970s, especially the AKS version. This becomes clear when you look at the layout with the patch matrix in the center. This consists of LEDs here, visualizing that you're making electronic connections rather than the patch sticks of the old EMS. By the way, you can stay informed about all our videos by subscribing to our channel. Just click the subscribe button below the video and you can hit the bell button to get notifications when there's something new on our channel. It is an almost square desktop model with all the buttons on the top, in moody black metal with the nicely finished wooden sides. The various components all have their own section, indicated by frames in the design. It contains 3 oscillators, a filter, envelope, random generator, a modulation joystick, an effects section, envelope follower, noise generator, ring modulator, and a metering section. A feature set that you can do a huge amount of things with, provided you patch everything through the matrix. At the back we find 2 outputs, headphone output, scope output, 2 inputs for audio, 2 CV inputs and a gate input, all with large jacks. Also in there is a MIDI in and through and a socket for an external 12-volt power supply. The layout is spacious with clear lettering, giving you a good overview and good control of the knobs. The potential meters run fine and feel solid. Overall, it gives a retro feel but with a modern touch. Central to the design is the LED matrix. You use this to link the Syntrx to various modules to create sounds. The matrix shows the outputs or sources vertically on the left, with the audio at the top and the control voltages below. Horizontally, the audio and CV inputs, also targets, are indicated at the top. Using 2 rotary knobs, like this, you move an LED cursor through the field, and by pressing one of them you make a connection, with the LED then permanently lit. One has chosen 3 signal levels in which the LED also lights up, weaker or brighter. And the circuit you create this way determines the overall signal path and can be saved, and is also remembered when you turn the Syntrx II off and on. Below the matrix are buttons to load and save patches and to cycle through them. Building a patch like this takes some getting used to, but it's a quick and reasonably straightforward way to create complex patches, and of course no cables are needed. A unique feature of the patch matrix is that all inputs actually have a summing mixer, so you can turn on multiple modulation sources without any weakness of the signal, making the signal increasingly complex but never damaging the input. 2 oscillators have an octave switch and a wave shaper. Oscillator 1 has a square wave and a sine wave output, and the second has a square wave and sawtooth output. With the level controls you can control how loud the signal is that gets sent out to the targets, which are determined in the matrix. The oscillators sound fine and very stable. The wave shaper allows you to generate a rich timbre, which is a good basis for further processing. There's a sync function and you can adjust the pulse width via the wave shaper. Perhaps the oscillators lack a touch of analog character because of their extreme stability, but you can of course detune them among themselves. But still, that drift is often what makes the sound just a bit thicker, but it's also a matter of taste, because you lose some tonal stability with it. In any case, there was no need to retune the oscillators after warming up for a while, and then we check oscillator 3, which has its own section and it can also be used as an LFO. This features a wave shaper and tuning and has outputs for square wave and triangle. And optionally it can be set to free or key follow. The filter is an analog ladder filter with high and low pass control and resonance. It can go into self-oscillation, allowing you to create high resonance pitched sounds. The filter sounds warm and full and has no overly aggressive or shrill character and has a pleasant sound. If you route the oscillators through the filter, it quickly becomes saturated at higher levels, and the solution to that is not to set the output levels of the oscillators too high. Let's listen to a filter demo. In addition to the oscillators, the Syntrx II also has a ring modulator. You choose one of the inputs with a switch, which offers 7 choices for that purpose, and you determine the other input with the matrix. The Syntrx II also has 2 audio inputs, and on these is an envelope follower which can generate both CV and gate signals. Input 2 has a microphone and line level selector. There's also a noise generator on it, whose sound you can control with this noise tone. Let's listen to the ring modulator and noise. The outputs have their own filter for both channels, and each channel has a panning control. The third output is called scope, and this signal is driven by the metering section. You can set this to display AC voltage or audio, or DC voltage or CV. And on the rear, this output is also available, giving you a total of 3 audio outs. This allows you to come up with some nice extra patches by, for example, realizing a send return with an external effect or overdrive-like sounds via feedback. The Syntrx II can also be used as an effect device by sending the inputs through the filter via the envelope follower. The Trapezoid section is a combined envelope and VCA with attack, decay and an on control that provides the sustain function. Setting it to 0 creates an AR envelope. The signal control hereby determines the volume of the output behind the VCA, and the Trapezoid control determines the height of the CV output, which you can assign to various targets in the matrix. We will listen to a small demo of the Trapezoid. The joystick section has various functions. In a matrix you can assign the X and Y direction, and the maximum output of the joystick CV levels are determined with these two level knobs. To visualize the output of the joystick, there are two LEDs, a green and a red one. Next to the joystick is a gate knob to trigger the gate manually. But the most special function is the recording button. If you press this and move the joystick, it gets recorded for a maximum of 8 seconds. As soon as you release the knob, the movement is being played back in a loop. In this way, the joystick can be an extra complex LFO or other modulation source for other various parts of the Syntrx II. Let's take a listen to the recording of the joystick. You can get even more modulation from the random section. This is a sample and hold circuit with level control and a switch that allows you to trigger it on the gate or on the internal clock, which is determined by the controller next to it. As the matrix only has 16 inputs, there's also a switch in this section that lets you determine whether the input gets the pulse output of oscillator 3 or the LFO or the value of the sample and hold. Let's listen to a quick demo of the random circuit. The Syntrx II features a digital effects section where you can choose between reverb and delay. And in the settings you can also choose between bucket brigade, emulation or tape echo. There are 3 controls for output level, delay, reverb time and feedback. The effects are mono and can be assigned to an output in the matrix. You then determine the mix between dry and effect signal with the level control of the effect section. A nice extra is that you can also record the effects buttons for 8 seconds with the record function like the joystick. Let's listen to the effects. Besides the joystick and effects, another digital part of the Syntrx II is MIDI. The implementation is fairly minimal, with the channel selector and the ability to control the joystick via external MIDI controllers. Also, the Syntrx II sequencer can be synced via MIDI clock. The matrix therefore has 2 more functions. First, it functions as a kind of display when you want to adjust the settings for MIDI and effects. And furthermore, there's a step sequencer built in with 16 memory slots. It features 16 steps, each of which you can adjust the note value via the matrix controls and determine the total number of steps as well as the gate length. The sequencer also features 2 step modulation tracks whose values are passed to the joystick and can thus control various parts of the Syntrx II via the matrix. The sequencer can also be retained when changing patches to quickly listen to how a different setting sounds with the sequence. So, what do we think of the Syntrx II? Erica Synths confirms a couple of things with it. First, that EMS came up with a fantastic synthesizer design back then, and secondly, that this is still a good idea that you can also modernize and make more unique. The Syntrx II is a fully modular synthesizer, and with it you get great value for money with a comprehensive set of oscillators, filter, effects and most importantly modulation options, all without the need for patch cables. The sound is nice and clean, the filter sounds nice and the effects are usable. The clever digital matrix gives easy access to complex circuits and provides visual overview. The joystick recorder is a nice addition and also provides the bridge to MIDI control over a number of things, although as a whole MIDI is still quite limited. The Syntrx II lends itself to all kinds of sounds, from leads and basses to self-generated soundscapes and other experimental effect sounds. For standard synth sounds, there are probably better and cheaper options, but if you like to experiment and want to do so in a compact and convenient way, the Syntrx II is a unique and beautiful sounding option. Thank you for watching, we hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see all our videos. See you next time.